Good afternoon, Townsend Harris, and good afternoon, Captain Roy Love. Captain Love is one of our alum who graduated from class of '88, and we were really excited for him to join us this afternoon. He was excited to be a part. I think when we first reached out, his response was, "Of course, I'm ready." And we've had a couple of conversations since then, and I'm really excited about the presentation he has for our students today. And I want to thank all of you for being a part of this. And I want to thank all of you for keeping your camera on and being on time and being respectful participants, just like Harrisites. And let's give all of our attention over. I'm going to push it over to Captain Love, and he's going to take it over, and we'll be here for support. And if we have any questions, we're here. We're going to hold off in the chat until it's opened up to say add to the chat, because I think we are going to put all of our attention on truly listening to the presentation. So thank you so much, Harrisites. I appreciate you. I hand it over to Captain Love.
All right. Good afternoon, fellow humans. I hope everybody's doing well. How about a thumbs up from everybody on the little chat? Or I think you're holding the chat. So yeah, thumbs up. There we go. There we go. Awesome. So nobody's sleeping. That's great, Georgia. Thank you so much. All right. Can you all see my presentation? Got a big, beautiful carrier there. That is a carrier going by San Diego, California, where I was commanding officer of the base that was across the street from this one. This is Coronado, where the flag is. That installation is one of the largest in the United States. But I had the pleasure of leading the second largest, which was Naval Base San Diego across the street. But California is a beautiful place to live. So we're going to go through the slides here. Hey, this is who I am. This is me. You notice the young man there. I told my wife that was me. She's like, no way, that dude is way more handsome than you are. All right, so he's my brother. All right, so who am I? Who's Roy Love? I was born in Hispaniola, which is Dominican Republic and Haiti. Anybody from Dominican Republic and Haiti in the crowd? We had about 4 Dominican kids when I went through Townsend Harris High School a while back. And I hope you got some. And if you do, send me an email. Let's connect and let's talk. All right. So background, parents, I'm a mixed kid. I'm multiracial, not just biracial. White family from my father's side, came from Europe. You got that 67% up there. I love this DNA stuff. I think it's outstanding what they're doing. And I think each and every one of us should do it, look into it. I know people are afraid they're going to steal my DNA, but you gave up your DNA the day you were born. I just want you to know that somebody's got it. Okay. Africa, 22% of my ancestors, of my DNA comes from my African ancestors. On the background there, you see Christopher Columbus's voyage. I'm going to tell you a story. I can't verify it, but it's what was told to me when I was little. So the story goes that when Christopher Columbus came to America on the Pinta, La Niña, and the Santa Maria, the 2 captains of the other ships were the Pinzon brothers. There was a couple of more Pinzon brothers. My dad's name is Rogelio Alvarez de Paz Pinzon. So his family goes back all the way to 1492 when we found the islands in the Caribbean and said we found America. Isn't that an awesome story? I like to tell it. I can't verify. One of these days I'm going to do the right thing and go verify. But so part of my family came with Columbus. We've been here a little while. The other part of my family came across from 1701 to, you see there, 1810 in that great migration of stolen people from Africa, right? We brought them to the Caribbean. We brought them to Central and South America, and we brought them to America. So part of my family came back through there. And then a small percentage in there, you see that 10% of America, those are Taínos. The Taínos were sort of like the Arawak tribes that were in Venezuela, all across southern Florida and across Central South America. So a little bit of history there. And for anybody who says I'm not from all around the world, check out that 0.8% Asian. Huh? How you like that? And I like to claim it as 1% because you round up, right? All right. But how do you break that down a little bit more? You know what was a surprise to me? My mama always said great-great-grandma was Jewish. And I was like, why? Well, Catholic. What are you talking about? Matter of fact, Ashkenazi Jewish from the Balkans. Can you believe that? All right. I'm a mix like there is no mix. Okay. So if you ever get a chance, get your DNA done. Check that out and find out who you are. That's me. All right. What have I been doing for all of my life here? I'm a lifelong student, a lifelong learner. We like to talk about people being lifelong learners. I've been in school forever. Uh, so what have I also been doing? Working since I was 12 years old. And a lot of you, your parents are like, you're too young to get a job. I told my 11-year-old she's working next year. Okay, she might be sweeping floors in my house, but she's working. All right. So delivering newspapers in Puerto Rico, we have 5 newspapers. For me, that was a great Christmas thing because the tips that came in at Christmas, man, it was pretty awesome. New York City, after we moved from Dominican Republic to Puerto Rico and then to New York, I started working in parks, doing that summer thing. Anybody do that summer thing? You make good money out there. I don't know if New York's still doing it. I hope so. Um, but I was doing a lot of cleaning, a lot of painting, a lot of pruning, and cleaning up the parks. Then when I was 17, my dad said, you need to go do something because you don't know what you're going to do after school. And I was like, I'm going to college, Dad. He's like, I don't care. Go to work. So in the summer, I worked in a factory in New York to see what my dad wanted me to see, what I didn't want to do after I got out of high school. And I learned a lot. But I moved a lot of boxes. So that's good. And then right after high school, while I waited to join the Navy, I worked at McDonald's. Why do I tell you all this? Because it doesn't matter what you do. The point is that you do something, right? And because you learn from each and every one of these experiences. No job is too small for you, all right? No matter what you decide to do after you get out of Townsend Harris, take pride in what you've done, learn from it, and move on. And if you want to keep moving up the ladder, you can do that. If you're settled and say, this is a job I want to do for the rest of my life, then do what your heart tells you to do. Okay. You're going to find a lot of challenges along the way. Things are not going to be easy all the time. Right. But I'm a captain of the United States Navy. And what does a captain do? Besides driving ships and telling people what to do, I build teams. I build resilient teams that can get the job done. And for us, that mission means fighting wars for the United States. Deter war or fight them if you can deter. Okay. That's what I do. I build teams. So here's my excellent adventure. You see the 2 maps over there? Remember Christopher Columbus's voyages? He ain't got nothing on me, right? The Navy has got me going through 68 different countries at least that I can count, right? And if you see the map, the little blue lines, that's where I've been on the ocean. That doesn't count all the airplane flights back and forth, all right? That's what the Navy could do for you. I went to Henry Lou Gehrig, 151 in the Bronx, New York. It's a below average school still to this day. That didn't mean anything because what makes you a great student, right? Your teachers, your parents, and you, right? It's a triangle. It's 3 people, right? You can't do it without every one of those people. And it doesn't matter what somebody rates your school. If you're a great student, if you're motivated, you're going to do well. Townsend Harris High School, brand new school. I was a senior for 4 years. Only class of 88 could do that. Okay. You guys are going to an awesome school. Now, last time I checked, you guys were #1. And I like to put that on presentations. Not just kids in middle school. I did a presentation with middle schoolers this morning, but I also tell the CEOs that I get to talk to every so often, yeah, I went to the best school in New York. Okay. And then I went to State University of New York Maritime. I joined the Navy, got an ROTC scholarship, ended up in New York, SUNY Maritime right there in the Bronx because I love the Bronx and I love New York.
No, I forgot it.
Right. And SUNY Maritime right now is that number 13, the top public schools, because you get out of there with a merchant marine degree, engineering, or driving ships, and you're going to make some bucks, right? So the return on investment at a maritime school, you can't beat it. I got a master's degree from the Naval War College. That was a 1-year focused 30 credit minimum. Like, it's like being at Townsend Harris, but double. You got a lot of reading, a lot of studying. You know what all this was? Free. Free. I didn't pay a cent. And in August, I'm starting my PhD. And guess who's paying for it? Uncle Sam. So thank you all who pay taxes. Teachers, appreciate you. I'm going to school. All right. All right. What else did I get? Adventure. Holy smokes. Have I been to places and met some cool, great, wonderful people. That is the best part of this job. Is the people that you meet, the connections that you make, the places that you go. We all love to say America's the greatest country in the world. Oh, hell yeah, it is, right? But so is France to a person from France. So is India to someone from India. So is China to someone from China. Okay, we all have amazing countries and amazing places and live in a great, wonderful world. The culture is so rich and so deep. You got to get out there. You got to experience it. You got to embrace it. You got to meet friends, make friends all over the world. Okay, this is what diversity and inclusion is about, and that's why we're talking today, right? Because we want to make sure that everybody understands that's what makes us stronger and that's what makes us better. So along the way, I got a bunch of skills. The best one was motorcycle coach. I teach people how to ride motorcycles, and oh my God, is that fun. Not only do I get to ride a motorcycle when I go to another country, but I get to teach people how to ride it. All right. And there's leadership and management, team building, comms, computers. I was a firefighter. I ran a police department. I had a whole public works department that worked for me fixing streets. You can't get that anywhere. It's an amazing job. I mean, Air Force, Army, great services, but the Navy's best. Okay. But the most important thing that I learned along the way in this journey of mine, this excellent adventure, is getting along with people, is loving people for who they are and what they are. So how to become a captain? It wasn't easy. It took a lot of hard work. So, 1988, graduate from Townsend Harris, 5 years. We'll go to a preschool called Boost before I went to New York Maritime. That was all physics and calculus and stuff that I didn't pay attention to in Townsend Harris. Oh, by the way, I wasn't at the bottom of the list at Townsend Harris, but I wasn't one of the smartest kids over there. So I had to work hard afterwards. So work hard while you're in, so you don't have to work half as hard after you go to college. All right. I got my maritime scholarship, my ROTC. While I was there at that school, I learned to take initiative, right? And by the 4th year, and I see hands up, we're going to talk questions here soon. I don't know. I thought I saw a hand up. But I learned discipline at my prep school because I had to have 75% or above to pass every class, physics, calculus, or else I wasn't going to get my scholarship and I was going to stay enlisted in the Navy. At SUNY Maritime, I learned how to take the initiative, right? Be the number one guy, always raise your hand and say, hey, I'll do that. I'll do that. Okay. And people start looking at you saying, that's the person that I want to lead everybody else. So I was the ROTC battalion commander of my senior year, which was awesome. That meant I get my first pick also of what I wanted to do after college. And I picked being a surface ship captain. I was going to be a captain one day. First ship, I was a division officer in charge of about 30 people and, brand new guy, first job, you don't know what the hell to do. People are looking at you and you're like, so you start talking to yourself about, you know what, I'm determined to complete this and to do well, right? Bonus, I got to go out there and catch pirates, drug runners, and people trafficking humans, all sorts of great stuff. Got to shoot a bunch of people, like ships, not people. But it was awesome. So Pirates of the Caribbean, they exist. Pirates exist in Somalia. There's pirates over in Asia. People are doing bad stuff in the water. And that's one of our jobs. So you build confidence, right? By the time you get to your second job, your division officer tour, you get your second one, you're like, okay, I know what I'm doing. I've got a lot of confidence. Then you become a department head and you have like 4 or 5 divisions that report to you. And you're like, I'm in charge of 200 people almost. Oh my God. But you're confident because you've already done it and you've learned from those experiences and you brought that forward. And now you're dealing with people from all over the place. The first time I met a Filipino that I recognized was a Filipino was in boot camp, right? In San Diego. The guy's name was Ramirez. And I was like, oh, yo, ¿qué pasó, Ramirez? He's like, I don't speak Spanish, bro. And I was like, oh my God, where are you from? I'm from the Philippines. And I said, what is that? Right. And it just so happens the Spanish went all the way past the Pacific, past Hawaii, and found the Philippines. And now a lot of people have Spanish names down there. So I worked at 7th Fleet. After being in the States for a while, I got sent to Japan. Townsend Harris was what? Ambassador to Japan. It was pretty cool because I remember that. I was like, oh, I'm like Townsend Harris. Yeah, baby, I'm in Japan. Had a blast out there. But while I was there, I started to kind of get that self-initiative. Hey, you know what? I made it this far. I can go even further. I'm about 10 years into the Navy at that point. We're getting ready to make executive officer. I got picked for that. So if you watch Star Trek and, Captain Picard is like my number 1. Well, that was me. That was number 1, right? But on our ships, we're number 2 because the captain was always in charge. But I learned focus then, right? And I focused on the fact that I knew what I wanted after that job. I wanted to be that captain. That's what I was going to be. And that had been my dream from the beginning. This has been the best job ever. And you can see some of the pictures there. You see the Statue of Liberty. You guys are in New York. That's my ship in front of the Statue of Liberty, and I'm driving it. And that's pretty damn cool, right? You got a Japanese ship there, the crew of a Japanese ship in the bottom. I'm sitting in the front row there with ambassador from Japan, a couple of admirals from the United States Navy. They came to Naval Base San Diego, and I was their host. So that felt pretty cool. Next to that, there's a little photo there with a guy, his mama, and his daughter. That's me. And the top there says Love Boulevard. So I got a street named after me. That's pretty cool. Ain't that something? Only in the Navy, right? Although my grandpa has a street named in the Dominican Republic. So grandpa, I'm there. All right. Then the Pentagon, and you see my base. And then the guys that says USS Boone FFG 28. One of the beautiful things I got to do when I took the ship to New York was march in the parade, Veterans Day parade. And it felt great. It felt great just kind of walking down the streets, waving at people, big old sign, and that's my ship. And then my daughter next to the Blue Angels, that's an awesome thing for a kid too. That, you know, your daddy has a job that gets you cool bennies, benefits. That's pretty cool. And the other thing that we did that was a little bit, it wasn't secret, but, you know, it was kept under wraps, is that Naval Base San Diego, we did a lot of testing for the space capsule. And so we were preparing for that mission to Mars, doing a lot of testing with that stuff. That's some cool stuff. And hopefully one of you guys will get to go to Mars one day, guys and gals. Okay, achieving the dream, right? Became a captain. After that, I got command of a training school. So I was like a principal in charge of a school that trained all of the ships on the East Coast. And that was amazing. And then I got to go to the Pentagon. If you've seen the X-Men, Magneto is not in the basement. We do not have a glass cage for Magneto in the basement of the Pentagon. All right. So I've been in school from pre-kinder through college, 19 years, 28 years of active duty in the Navy. And out of those 28, 18 more going in and out of classrooms, either being at the school, teaching at a school, or being taught. So that's 37 years in education. That's pretty darn good. Okay. So you never stop learning, guys. All right. Best part of the job, you meet the coolest people. All right. Anybody know the old Star Trek? You know Mr. Sulu. And that was George Takei, one of my childhood heroes. One of the reasons I joined the Navy is because I wanted to be Captain Kirk. And I loved that crew. That was a pretty mixed crew too, right? Uhura. I mean, the Love Boat and Star Trek were those two shows that you knew from watching them that you could be one of those people one day, right? They gave you that hope and that motivation. Gary Sinise, Lieutenant Dan from the Forrest Gump movie. Lieutenant Dan Band, and also from NCIS, I think, not NCIS, Special Victim Units, one of those shows. Mark Wahlberg came over to my base. That's me, my daughters, with Marky Mark from Transformers movie. I know some of us are old. You guys don't even know who they are, but these are pretty famous. Big one, Scott Kelly, astronaut. Went to State University, New York Maritime College, joined the Navy, became a Navy captain and an astronaut. Spent 1 year in the Navy. And Scott came over to my base, and he signed his book for me, which I had read the Kindle version on it. So funny story is when he was signing it, I was standing next to him. I said, "Hey, Scott, can you sign my Kindle?" And he didn't think it was funny. But anyways, 1 year in space. All right. On the right-hand side, Mr. Andy Mills and other survivors from Pearl Harbor. I had the great fortune of escorting Mr. Andy Mills, a Pearl Harbor survivor. And that's the African-American gentleman, and among also all the other gentlemen there who survived that bombing on one of the ships. Incredible man. He was 94 years old, and I got to escort him for an entire week. He's passed away now, but not before we named a building after him in the Navy. Well-deserved. And then one of my proudest moments is at the bottom, meeting the Tuskegee Airmen at a Jets game in New York. And you see them there, some of the surviving Tuskegee Airmen. And you know, what stories do they tell? And I hope all of you have had a chance to read the stories about the Tuskegee Airmen and all the sacrifices that they made for this great country. And for those of us who like them, are pushing to get opportunity in the Navy in America. And then my favorite photo is class of '88 was on my ship. So that was a pretty cool thing, right? Ship pulls into New York. I get a bunch of classmates like you come over and, sip champagne with me and celebrate, how far we've come. And then at the bottom, that was the photo for the class. I'm on the far corner all the way on the right, a big old nose on there. You can't see it. And then far right, the guys from my boot camp company, because being in the Navy so long, you got to love these guys. And we were about 20 some young men growing up together. And a lot of them have left the Navy now. And I'm one of the last ones, but I still keep in touch with them. And then in the middle, you got the Secretary of the Navy, Mr. Spencer. And then a great friend of mine, Tom Gillis, ex-game snowboarder winner. And, great guy all around. He's there standing with me at my base. I met him at a conference for a speaking conference, and had him come over and talk to our folks down there. So all of these folks can be role models. They can be heroes to you. But at the end of the day, they're friends, right? They're people you meet, people you connect with, and people you learn from. And they come from all parts of the world. We've got African Americans, we've got Asians, we've got Caucasians, people from everywhere. You cannot deny yourself the knowledge and the things that you can learn from others by separating yourself. Make friends from everywhere. Okay. And why are we here today? I'm going to pause there, Ms. York, to see if there are any questions, one about my career, before we get into the meat of this presentation. Good. All right. We're talking about making friends. We're talking about getting along. We're talking about being anti-racist. And I watched the presentation that you all had with Miss Tanya Odom. She's an amazing person, 100%. I've learned a lot from her. I've had her come speak to my group, the Association of Naval Services Officers. She talked about several books. She talked about how to be an anti-racist, right? And Ibrahim X. Kendi, please read that book. And then one of my favorites, Cast, by Isabel Wilkerson. You can't not read. Besides those things, read books on leadership. And one of the ones that I like to recommend is The First Person That You Must Lead Is You. This was written by an Army colonel, a woman, right? About leading yourself. Because if you cannot lead yourself, you cannot lead others. And you have to learn how to do that. And then just in keeping it light, one of my favorite philosophers, kind of up there with Plato and Socrates, is Calvin, Sunday Lazy Book, right? This is a really great book that was meant to make you laugh, okay? All right. So I developed this social continuum of harmony, harm, and violence, because I truly believe that as we interact with one another, we need to always think about the effect that our words and our actions have on those around us. So I believe that people should live and learn to love. And I watch a lot of shows where people are afraid to tell each other they love you. I love you, right? We're all kind of like, oh, before the first time before I say I love you to the person I'm dating, oh my God, that is such a hard thing. That ain't a hard thing to do. That's a really simple and easy thing to do. And I tell my folks all the time, grown and young, I love you, right? And I've surprised a couple of people before, but like, hey, I love you, right? And I love you too, Captain. You know what I mean? But I mean it when I say it. You have to love people. You really have to love what people do, what people bring, right? What they share, what they show you. You can't be afraid of that word, love. Love is more than a bond between two people. It can be a bond between a group, right? In order to love one another and demonstrate love, you do have to treat people with dignity and respect. A lot of times we forget that. And that's very important. When you fail to show people respect, to show them and give them the dignity they deserve, things fall apart, right? That's when people get upset. And we're going to go through a couple of exercises here where we talk about picking teams and how we pick those teams, right? Because below this love, dignity, and respect, which is the ideal state where we should all be operating in, right? There are social norms and there are entitlements. As a Navy captain, when I walk down a passageway on my ship, everybody says, attention on deck. They stand tall, they stand up against the wall to give you room to pass. That's an entitlement. That's based on my rank and my position. And it's a social norm that's accepted and appropriate based on that rank, right? The captain is supposed to be able to get from wherever he is to the bridge of the ship immediately in order to fight that ship. So we understand that. A lot of times we're doing things because we've learned them, right? It depends on where you're from, right? But a social norm could be that whoever is important or considered more important is coming down the street and you give way. That's a norm that's accepted. People come up to each other to greet each other. They shake hands. That's a social norm. If I'm from a country where we don't shake hands and I extend my hand to you and you bow, if I take it and like, oh, I was just disrespected. Well, no, that's the norm in that country, right? And so I, as a traveler and a visitor, should understand those social norms in those places. But if I'm in the United States and I put my hand out to you, who is an American, to shake your hand, you look at it and you look up, then you know you just got disrespected, right? So we have to understand that these norms are different everywhere. The entitlement that we sometimes feel that we have based on the position that we have is also something to think about and consider, right? Am I entitled to sitting at the front table or the head table every time I go to an event, right? As a senior military officer, sometimes I will be at the head table. But if there's an admiral, yeah, I'm going to go in the back, okay? It's just the way it is. That is a social norm. And I, as a captain, oh, admiral, I'm sorry. Oh, go ahead, boss, sit down, right? That's a social norm. Beyond those, there's these implicit and unconscious bias things that we do. A lot of times, we'll talk about that a little bit more, but a lot of times we do things without really thinking about it because we've grown up that way. Someone's told us it's this way, but they're going beyond these social norms and these entitlements that are based on, you know, position or caste per se. And I highlighted those yellow because these things tend to go wrong quickly, right? And then there's all the real bad stuff. Harassment, discrimination, which could be the same, but right. And then we all know assault. And then the ultimate thing that could happen to you in any situation, any interaction with another human being is you end up dead or you kill yourself. Murder or suicide, which is a horrible thing. And we're seeing a lot of today. Okay. So why am I telling you all this? I want to inspire you. One, discover your potential, understand yourself, right? And grow that desire to embrace each other, to embrace people. All right. So love, dignity, and respect. There's a little exercise here. I want you all to kind of try and read through these things and think about how you feel about what you're reading, right? So I'll give you about a minute or so to kind of go through what I've written here. So a lot of these things are, you know, this could be me doing it. How do I feel when I do it? How do I feel when someone else does it to me? Right? Is it good? Is it really bad? Is it evil? Morality is something that we all kind of have to learn to understand. And I think our mindset changes as we grow, right? When I was 14, it might have been, you know, fun to make fun of someone else, and I laugh about it. But as I grow and I understand the harm and the hurt that it does, right? Shouldn't I stop, reconsider, do unto others as you would have them do unto you? Okay. These are things that I want you all to think about. One of the weirdest things, and I put this on here, that I ever saw was a VIP entrance at a church. It was a holy place where everyone is supposed to be equal. And yet there's an entrance specifically set aside for someone who is considered a very important person. Why? What makes you so much more important than every other worshiper, right? And if I'm the one that's taking that entrance, right, because I donated $100,000 or whatever, do I really feel superior or better than everybody else? And should I feel? I'm not going to ask you any questions about this. This is just to provoke thought and get you thinking through it. Okay. Some of these things happened to me. Little girl told my daughters, we don't like brown people. You know what's funny? Her father's mother was Mexican. And mom came over and said, hey, listen, I'm sorry. I really don't understand why she said that. Kids learn stuff from somewhere, right? We learn it from our parents. I try to teach my kids the right thing. So bottom line is we're all human. And as we consider how we interact with each other, we should think about how our actions affect them, the others. And would we want that to happen to us? All right. So going into unconscious bias, implicit bias, does everybody understand what that is and what that works? I think Ms. Odom talked a little bit about it. But I'm going to do a couple of exercises with you all that are going to get you thinking. So we're going to get these exercises. And this time, Ms. York, I want some answers from the students. And I got some really cool patches to give away to whoever can answer all the questions or wants to volunteer. And it doesn't matter. I'll give away up to 10, 15, whatever you tell me, right? And if not that, then I'll send you guys some Navy coins. Here, I want you to participate and be brave and answer the questions. There are no right or wrong answers to any of these two exercises that we're about to do. Okay, here we go. All right, we're gonna form some basketball teams. All right, we got 6 people out on the court. You gotta pick them, but we got 1 minute because that clock's about to start. You got to form that team. So you got 1 minute to pick your 6 your players here. The part 1 first. Okay, 1 minute is 33 after, Miss York. So we're getting to 34 after. All right, pick your teams. Pick part A first. Pick 1 player from each group, right? And then what I want you to tell me is why you picked them. And I want you to be honest. And then part B is to pick any number of players from any other groups. Okay. So for part A, from the top 2, one of those, one of the ones in the middle and one of the bottom. And then from part B, mix and match. You could pick all 2 from the top or, all 2 from the middle. All right. And again, the swag is real fake gold. Okay. So real fake gold. All right.
I'm confused.
Or Navy coin.
About the instructions.
Yes. Questions?
Yeah. I don't really play basketball, so I'm kind of confused about what we're supposed to do.
You don't have to play basketball. You just have to pick the ones you think are the best players on there.
In the meeting?
Yeah, you see the little pick your basketball teammates.
Yeah, so Anissa, there's a slide in front of us, and it's speaking. It says that there's 2 humans, 6 foot to 6'5". One's bald, one's blonde. Another human, 5'9" to 5'11". One has pink shoes, one has red shoes. Another human is 5 foot to 5'5". One has very long hair and one has short hair. And you don't have to know their skill level, but who would you choose for the team? So we're talking about our own implicit bias. And if these are the only things that we know, what would we choose?
Oh. Okay.
It's weird. You're not wrong for feeling hesitant. Yes. It's weird.
Okay, who wants to go first? Can we get one of the teachers to be brave? Oh, okay. Well, we've got a player.
So for the first one, 6 to 6'5", I'm not very sure about that one. But for the second one, I don't know the first company, the pink qual one, so I would pick the second one because Nike is a very good athletic company. So yeah. And the third one, I would choose the short hair, because I feel like short hair is more, I feel like the long hair will be distracting while playing basketball. Okay. So
great. All right, Miss Masudi, you get a patch. That was really good. Okay, very brave. Thank you. All right, who's next?
I would pick the 6'6" one, and I would pick the 6 foot one and the 6'5" one because naturally the taller you are, the better you're gonna be at basketball. And the one wearing earrings, I would assume that it's a boy, right? And
They're human.
okay, so I'm not gonna comment about the earrings, but are the earrings big? Because if they're big, it might be a distraction, and if they're small, I don't know. Some people like. Never mind, never mind. If they're small, then like I don't really think there's a problem. Like if they're big, then they might be a distraction.
That is awesome. Okay, great, Miss Rahman. So, Miss York, are you taking the names down? Okay, perfect. All right.
I got it. I'm going to give these out.
All right.
Can we
All
just,
right.
can we
Mr.
just
Trimble.
openly participate?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, for the first one, I would pick the bald one because the less hair you have, the cooler you are, and the more active you can be.
All right.
Second one, I've never heard of that brand either, and I
All
think Nike might be a more athletic brand.
Okay. Okay.
And for number 3, I would pick this short hair, 2 earrings. Not because the earrings, but the short hair. The short hair is just you're just cooler. Not cooler as in like swag, but like as in
Okay. All right.
you're colder. Like you
That's
don't heat up as
excellent.
much.
All right. Well, good choices. All right. All right. Somebody else, real quick, before we wrap it up and go to the next one. So what the one thing you guys haven't done is if you had the choice. So let's see if you had to pick part B. You got to pick any 2 players from any of the groups. So pick any player from any of the groups. So you can mix and match. I'll take the top 2 and maybe one of the bottom ones.
I would choose the long-haired player because you can't play with earrings when you play basketball. You have to take them off.
Okay. Yeah. All right.
Unless they're pearls.
Oh, well, yeah. Okay.
They definitely need to take them off anyway.
That's awesome, Ms. Rao.
And I would pick the tallest player too. The
Okay.
blonde player, I think.
All right. Yeah. Okay. We're good then. Before we move on to the next one, here, Miss York, how about you? Can you pick?
I really want to go blonde because I am blonde, but I probably would automatically just go bald. I would definitely choose the Nike ones. And I would go short hair with 2 earrings.
Okay. All right. So I asked my 11-year-old.
All my biases.
No, hey, look, I mean, think about it. This is very limited information. I don't know what to go by. You didn't give me a skill level. The first thing I want to know about a basketball player is, can they play? Right? The thing that you all are assuming, some of you are assuming, you're looking for male and female here, right? We shouldn't be looking for male and female. We really should be focused on, athleticism, because we're playing a basketball game. If this is a pickup game at the court next to the house, who cares? Honestly. But if I'm going to go and play in the Olympics, I want, a real player. So typically basketball players are taller, right? But you got some 5'11" players that are just awesome, right? So we can't discriminate for size or height. My 11-year-old, I asked her these questions. She goes, I would pick the blonde because I don't like bald people. Oh, you know how I felt when she said that. I was like, wow, what? And then she goes, I picked the red shoes because I don't like pink. All right, that's my 11-year-old girl. And then she said, and I would pick the short hair with the 2 earrings because you can't play basketball with long hair. That's what she said. And then I said, well, what if you could pick any of them? She goes, I'd pick the 2 in the middle because they both have basketball shoes. And that means they know what they're doing. And I was like, that is the only answer that I really kind of would have looked at. What are you wearing? Are you dressed to play basketball? Right? Then I go, probably a basketball player. And just so you guys know, the pink Kauai are male shoes. They're $179 or $169 basketball shoes. And most people go Kobe because I know Kobe. He's a basketball player, right? These are some of our implicit biases, our unconscious biases. We are looking for something that tells you without knowing someone what that person's abilities and capabilities are, right? Bald hair. My wife picked the bald hair guy because she's like, Michael Jordan, bald hair, right away. Associating a characteristic with an ability is what we do automatically, right? What if I told you that all of these were Chinese players, and this is in a small town in China? The blonde would have probably painted his hair. Is there a basketball player out there who loves to paint his hair? Right? We don't know. The point of the exercise is to get you to think about those implicit things, these biases that we all carry with us, that we automatically assume when we look at a person. If I'm walking down the street with a pair of jeans and a t-shirt, right, I'm just some dude. People don't say, there goes a Navy captain. But if I'm wearing this outfit with all these medals, I'm a war hero. Well, wrong side, right? And people are like, oh, we need to show him respect. He's in the military. No, you need to show me respect because I'm a human being, right? That's what this exercise is about. Okay. This is a little bit more advanced, right? You're picking your teammates to develop a new PS5. I'm sorry, Xbox gamers. All right, I'm a PS5 player. I'm PlayStation all the way. So we missed it here. Here's your teams. All right, same exercise. Think about it. I want you to really read this one though, right? Same concept. You got to pick your teams. Take a look at it.
Hello.
I'm going through it. The first group is 3 humans, glasses, no glasses, sunglasses. The second group, software designers, shirt and bow tie, slacks and a blouse, jeans and a turtleneck. The next group of coders, baseball cap, hijab, and a turban. Fourth group of hoovers, web design. So we're just thinking, so this idea of this is we're assuming who we would choose best for each of these roles, Captain
For
Love?
each of these teams. So you're going to pick one person from each team, right? To form
Wait.
your team that's going to develop this new software.
Wait,
Right.
can you read them again? All of them?
Yeah. Yep.
Thank you.
I'm also
No.
typing them privately.
Oh. Okay. And she's on it.
Okay.
For the first, so programmers, would you think a programmer has glasses, no glasses, or sunglasses? And then software designers, a shirt and a bow tie, slacks and a blouse, jeans and a turtleneck. Coders, baseball cap, hijab, a turban. Web designers, large hoop earrings, 1 earring and tattoos, small diamond earrings, and nose ring.
I didn't realize they couldn't all see it.
Sorry, I'm blind.
So the premise of
We
this
got
is you don't know this team, right? You just got to sign and say, hey, look, I need the best team you can put together to make this new game, right? Go grab, you got 3 candidates for each particular job, right? And out of those 3 candidates, you get to pick one, the one you think is the best. The only thing you know about these people, all of them, is that they are computer scientists. They're software engineers. This is what they do for a living, right? They have similar skill levels and experience, but they're not all the same age, right? So from the list of attributes that I gave you, you got to select, the best team.
The best team, the best person from each group?
Who you believe will give you the best product at the end of the day. So this is what supervisors, managers do, right? They put teams together and say, hey, look, I got a project and I got to get the best folks that I can to work on this project. So at the end of the day, I have a product that I can sell and make the most profit out of, right?
Okay.
Okay, so since I have glasses, I'll pick the one with the glasses. For the second one, I would choose number 1 because I think that's more professional. I guess that's biased too. For the third one, since I'm Muslim, I would also pick the one with the hijab, because I like that. And for the third one, I would choose number 3 because that's also biased because I like small earrings. So.
All right. Great. That's awesome.
Okay, so for the first one, I would do the no glasses. And this is weird because I'm blind, but I honestly know from my, based off of my experience, for me as a visually impaired person, I imagine coding would be very difficult. Like math, it's like math and stuff like that. Like that stuff is kind of hard online, based off of
Okay.
experience. And the second one, I would pick the one with the more professional clothes. And the third one, I would honestly I would pick the one with the hijab.
Okay. Excellent.
And the next one, I would pick the one with the diamond earrings because, like,
All
I
right.
don't know, there's just something I have about long earrings.
Got you. Easy. All right. Anybody else?
I feel like that it's impossible to really pick someone because you don't know what's in here.
Okay.
That's the thing. I mean, the only thing that I might consider is when it comes to all these choices, if I were to choose something, I would basically be gambling on, okay, hopefully this person knows something about coding. Maybe I might turn down the sunglasses person just because the only people who wear sunglasses indoors are people who are trying to look cool, and what's the point? And I'm not really sure about group 3 because if you were looking for probably the most stereotypical depiction that you could think of, you would probably pick glasses, shirt and bow tie, baseball cap, and maybe number 2 for the last one. But the problem is stereotypical depictions aren't real.
Yeah.
Anyone can design a game. You just got to know, because I'm not looking for someone that's wearing something. I'm looking for someone who knows something.
There you go. Absolutely. Awesome. All right. Anybody else want to venture into this? It's just an exercise. It really means, almost nothing. It's just to help us think through how we think about things. And Mr. Ahmed said something that's really that's really critical here. Experience, right? Are these folks able to do the job? And that's what matters at the end of the day. So what did I tell you guys about all of these folks? What do you actually know? Other than what they're wearing.
That they are humans.
That they're what?
Humans.
Well, they're human, yes.
They're skilled at a certain like Ryan said, they're equally qualified for in the engineering field.
Absolutely, right? They're all computer scientists. They're all software engineers, right? They have similar skill levels. So at the end of the day, when you have to hire someone, right, that has the skills, the experience necessary to do a job, nothing else matters, right? If you want a certain fit and a certain look in your business, everybody wears a bow tie, Steve Jobs jeans and a turtleneck, right? You're looking for the wrong things. What you're looking for is experience. What you're looking for is skill, right? Ability. We focus sometimes on the wrong things. 2 equally qualified candidates walk into a room and I hire the one that looks like me, right? Because I didn't really think through. Now, everybody in the office looks like me. That's not diversity and inclusion. That's wrong, right? That's why we are where we are today, because a lot of people see and say ducks pick ducks, right? I'm wearing a baseball cap, so I'm going to pick the guys that are wearing the baseball cap, right? I'm wearing a hijab, so I'm going to pick everybody who wears a hijab. That's not the right way to do things. This is why we get in trouble. This is why people leave jobs. This is why people feel not included. Okay. So one, I hope you learned something from that. Little exercise, not meant to be right or wrong. It's just meant to make us think, right? And so we move into this part of harassment. That's the unconscious bias, implicit bias that we all carry. We all carry it in many different ways. And we have to be very aware of it, right? Self-awareness is something that we all need to have. So when we talk about harassment, what is it? Form of discrimination, any unwelcome verbal or physical conduct based on appearance, on the way you look, right? Your race, your color, your gender, sex identity, age, national origin, mental, physical disability, religion. Today, politics. People get harassed because of their politics. right? Sexual orientation, marital status, political affiliations, parental status, right? A lot of those terms in the harassment definition are race related, right? Race and ethnicity related, right? We don't like to say people are racist. We don't like to talk about racism. A lot of folks are stopping training, right? Because let's not, we don't want to be called racist, please. Okay, we're other, you harass someone because of the way they looked, what they were wearing, that might be race related, right? And so what is racism? It's a noun, not a verb, right? It's a noun. It's just something. Prejudice, discrimination, or antagonism directed against a person or people based on membership in a racial or ethnic group, okay? A person as mixed as I am can go around saying, hey, I belong to pretty much almost all groups. You hurt that group, you're hurting me, right? We all are forced to, not forced, but asked to put ourselves in a particular block. I don't like to, I'm a human. I like to be part of every block. Give me, hey, I'm in, right? I'm a human being and I'm going to support you, and you, right? Regardless of what other people think or say about you. We have to embrace each other, right? Or this will never end. So bottom line, how do we do this? What is it that we need to do as individuals? How do we become better people, right? Know thyself. You got to treat everybody with respect, right? Remember that whole list of things that you read? And when you don't hold the door for someone who's behind you, you just want to let it slam in their face, right? There's no reason or responsibility for you to hold that door other than you wanting to be nice. That's it, right? And if you're holding something and coming through the door and the person in front of you just let it slam in your face, you know what I mean? You're going to feel bad about it. Again, that's up to you, right? No one has to be nice to you, right? They have to want to be nice to you. You have to want to be nice to others, right? Because we have to do the right thing because it's the right thing to do, not because we're going to go to hell or, some consequence or something else is going to happen. The minute we stop thinking about, if I don't do this, what will happen to me, instead of just saying, I'm going to do this because I want to be good. I want to be right? And I want to help and treat others with dignity and respect. Take responsibility for your actions. Everything that you do is on you, right? No one forces you to do bad things. You choose. And some people go, hey, well, if I put a gun to your head and say, do this bad thing or I'm going to kill you, well, that's a little different story. And hopefully you'll never be there, so you'll never have to find out. But at the end of the day, choices are made, right? We have to think through that. And holding others accountable for your actions. If my buddy says something stupid, I'm going to slap him upside the head and say, hey, stop it, right? If I laugh after he does or she does something stupid, I'm encouraging it. I'm going, that was funny. Do it again, please. I want to see it again. Okay. Hold each other accountable. Intervene, right? Get involved. A lot of us are afraid to get involved. We don't want to suffer, right? Whatever the other person is suffering, or we think that's not my problem. That's not my business. People die because we fail to get involved. Okay. Be a leader, encourage leadership in others. That's easier said than done, right? That takes time and experience and will, strong will to lead. Not everyone does it, but everyone can. Okay. Embrace diversity, ideas, experiences, and backgrounds. I told you my whole story and all the different places that I've been to. I've been to India and Sri Lanka and heard people in India talk bad about people from Sri Lanka and vice versa. I've been to Haiti and Dominican Republic and heard people from Haiti talk bad about Dominicans, and Dominicans talk bad about Haitians. Puerto Ricans talk bad about Dominicans. But one thing I also learned is that they intermarry. I married a Puerto Rican lady, his first wife. My dad was Puerto Rican, married Dominican lady, right? We say a lot of things that we truly don't mean, because when you fall in love, it doesn't matter, right? Fall in love with your fellow humans, okay? Hold the highest degree of integrity in professional and personal life. That's a little kind of, you got to have that integrity. That means doing the right thing because it's the right thing to do. Growing personally every day. This is part of your growth. You're talking to someone who's lived. I've been around for 51 years. I've learned a lot. I'm trying to help you, right? And I want to learn from you. And I learned a lot from some of you today who spoke up. That's important, okay? Contribute to team success. That's exercise discipline. This is Navy's top 10 signature behaviors. This is what we want our young men and women coming out of high school like you to come into the Navy, understand and embrace, right? I love these two things, these two quotes. The first one's mine. And I think, Ms. York, you put it in the thing that we are living in a world where love for one another, dignity for all, and mutual respect are supposed to guide us, right? These need to be deliberately at the forefront of every one of our interactions with each other. We can be part of the solution, right? We can also be the wall that stops things from moving forward. So we are all human. What do we do? And how do we do this? And this was America Ferrer. And I watched this TED Talk. If you have a chance, look America Ferrer TED Talk. It is possible to be the person who genuinely wants to see change, while also being the person whose actions keeps things the way they are. Inaction is inaction, right? Change will come when each of us has the courage to question our own fundamental values and beliefs, what we think, how we think, right? And then see to it that our actions lead to our best intentions. What do we want the world to look like tomorrow, right? For Latinos and for everybody here, We Are All Human is an actual movement. That HTTPS, we'reallhuman.org. In this group, I'm part of this group. We advocate for every human to be respected and empowered by focusing on our common humanity. We are all human, right? I'm also a member of HISPA, Hispanics Inspiring Students. Now I forgot. Achievement. Performance and achievement. Hispanics Inspiring Student Performance and Achievement. I'm wanting to inspire you to perform better, to achieve higher. That's all I have for you. All right. Ms. York, over to you. Questions?
Thank you. Are there questions from our group?
Ms. Alisa, back.
It'd be nice to talk to you on the phone sometimes.
So, I'm sorry?
It would be nice to talk to you on the phone sometimes. I just felt a very special connection, closeness.
Oh, absolutely. Ms. York, I take all sorts of phone calls all the time. Email, roy.love@navy.mil, roy.love1@yahoo.com, roylove83@gmail. Ms. York can get you all that. Let's talk. You want to join the Navy, call me because I can give you a scholarship. I've got a group that does that. Associated Naval Services Officers. In the Navy, we have doctors, lawyers, nurses. We have pilots, astronauts, ship drivers, meteorologists, any profession outside. Please do not enlist. I love people to enlist, but you all are super smart, and I don't want you to waste that talent right away. Go to college, 4 years. I can pay for it. Not for everybody, but there's a few of you. Absolutely.
What if we don't want to join the Navy, though? Can you
I'm
still
sorry?
give us what if we don't want to join the Navy? Can you still give us
Well, you can join any service. You know what you get out of a military service? The discipline, the understanding, that leadership that you may not get in 4 years out of regular college, that you'd have to learn after you got out of college, working a regular job. We give it to you right up front. And the commitment for you is only 4 years. I'm not trying to recruit anybody over here. I'm just saying that I've had a great life. I'm getting ready to probably leave next August and start my PhD program at Vanderbilt University down there, doctorate in leadership. After 30 years, I'm still good. I could stay for a little longer, but you know, sometimes you make that decision. 30 years is a long time. You know what I do get when I retire? I get a retirement, a pension, and I don't have to work again ever, honestly. So that's a pretty good deal.
What about for people who want to be teachers?
For people who want to be teachers.
Oh, absolutely. You know, that's what I'm going to do when I get out. I'm going to go teach. That's why I'm getting a leadership and a doctorate in leadership and education. But if you want to be a teacher, that is awesome. Talk to your teachers. They know better than I do. And I think they can point you in the right direction. You know, that is a wonderful goal and a wonderful career path. You should pursue it. If that's your passion.
I want to. So I was wondering if, you know, if I could join Wait,
We can definitely help.
military
We can link you guys together and we can
Yeah.
help sort of put you on the right track for studying education as an undergraduate.
Yeah, absolutely.
Not a
Thank you.
problem. No problem. I mean, while people are leaving, I just want to say, thank you for everything, Captain Love. Thank you for helping us and teaching us and guiding us to sort of reach our goal. And as a school and as a community, our goal is we are going to become more anti-racist. So thank you for helping us along our path.
It's my pleasure. Thank you for having me.
Are there any questions in the group? I don't want to cut it off, but I wanted to make sure that when we were all still present, I was able to publicly thank you for everything.
So, how will you link Mr. Love with you know, like like us? Because I'm just curious, like, will we get it through an email, just so we can keep an eye out?
I think that's what we'll do. Maybe we'll send information via email. That way you can reach out, and we're happy to help facilitate that.
All right, Roy
Thank you.
Love 83 at Gmail. Roy Love 83 at Gmail. And I answer every email that I get, and I answer it pretty much the same day.
I have a question. Did you
Yes.
ever, how do you use calculus in your job? Because you said you had to learn it. When you
How do I use calculus? I have no idea. I got A's and B's in calculus in college, but you know what I do, right? So when I'm driving a ship, there's a thing called relative motion, and it's all about angles, right? It's the same thing as when you're about to cross the street and a car is coming and you have to decide how fast you want to cross that street, right? That's a little bit of mathematics right there. You have to anticipate, right? Movement, speed, your speed versus their speed. How fast can I get across the street before I get hit? We do the same thing in the middle of the ocean, right? And we actually use a thing called a MO board, a maneuvering board, where you got, it's a big circle like a compass. You plot, you put your dot on, you put the dot of the other ship, and you figure out where to go so you don't hit each other. Now our computers and our radars do it for us, but we still make the sailors do it too. So they get to use their calculus. Good question.
I love that we have a math teacher in the room.
Yeah. All right. Anything else, guys and gals? Well, you all have been awesome.
All right.
I've got a test in less than an hour. That's a 3.5 hour test. So yes, I'm still in school, and today's the day I'll get certified as a resilience building leader trainer. So you never stop learning, guys. And I hope I pass my test. So wish me luck.
Can we all give a good luck? Good luck, Captain Roy.
All right.
Thank you.
I'm out of here. God bless you all. Merry Christmas.
All the
Feliz Navidad.
best.